Good evening, everybody. I flew in from Israel today, if it is today, not tomorrow or yesterday, to share with you my story, and I appreciate you coming to listen. As somebody who was born in Israel, in a very poor part of Ashdod, in the south of Tel Aviv, and when I was a little girl, moved to South Africa, and then remade Aliyah on my own. I remade Aliyah out of Zionism. I currently live in a city, an Arab Jewish city, a relatively poor one near the airport called Lod, out of Zionism. I served in the IDF. I was honorably discharged as a captain, believe it or not. And I still do the reserve duty out of Zionism. And out of that same belief, I served with President Peres as his advisor, the late, great president, as was said. And I had the privilege to learn that everything is possible. You know, his heritage was that everything is possible, but in the last 7 years as the Deputy Director General of the Federation of all local governments in Israel, taught me that truly everything is possible. It's really touching and feeling and smelling real Israel, the Israeli street. And having learned a little bit about it, and I thought I knew Israel before, I spent 3 years in Cairo as an Israeli diplomat. As I said, I served as advisor for the President of the State of Israel. And yet I didn't know my country as I know it today, after working with all the mayors, Arab, Jewish, central, peripheral, small and large. And yet living in Lod, doing the reserve duty, working for the State of Israel wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted to do something which is innovative and almost impossible, and yet possible, to make a real impact on society, to change people's views, stereotypes. And I wanted to take the fact that I knew Arabic and I learned Islam and I commentate on geostrategy in the Middle East, and to make Israel a better place, to make society a better place, not alone. Being a Wexner Israel Fellow, I went to the Wexner Foundation in Israel and asked to be able to approach the people who are the alumni in Israel and to try and get them on board. Not only were they affirmative, but they embraced me with open arms. I got an amazing, dedicated, value-oriented, and unbelievably touching group of people, all volunteers like myself. And we chose a Bedouin village in the north of Israel to transform it, to make a comprehensive model out of it for emulation, so that the impact on the people living in that village, on the entire Israeli society, on the Arab community within Israel would be astounding. That yes, everything is possible. Now I know the 80-odd Arab municipalities throughout the country. There is not one holistic, comprehensive model for emulation. Yes, there are beautiful niches for success in education, in culture. But if you walk into an Arab village in Israel, let alone a Bedouin one, you cannot say this is a flagship. This is a real role model. And there's not one party to blame. It's a combination. So instead of looking for parties to blame, we went to the elected leadership of the village. And I told the mayor, Naim Shibli, a Canadian citizen, believe it or not, a Bedouin, of course, would you like us to come and work together with you in an amazing partnership to make this a little haven of beautiful success? He said yes, but I think he didn't know that I would be sitting here and bothering him from that day onwards every single day, at least 30 times a day. We brainstormed about what would be the things that would turn this place around: education, scientific excellence, empowerment in terms of employment opportunities, and engines of growth, sustainable models of economic growth, not white elephants, not buildings that after 3 years there's no money for toilet paper, but opportunity, because the potential is all there. The people there are astounding, they're amazing. There are Zionists. These are our brothers in blood. They serve in the IDF. They send their girls to serve in the civil service. Several days ago, I was in a ceremony led by the Minister of Defense, saluting the people who gave their sons to the State of Israel. And I must tell you, it's very touching. It's astounding, because these are 100% Muslim citizens of the State of Israel, all Zionistic, all serving in the IDF. So to choose a Bedouin village would be to encourage other minorities in the State of Israel to also be part and parcel of Israeli society. Not only that, but the politically incorrect Arab community in Israel tends to look a little bit down on the Bedouin community. Having them as a model for emulation, a beacon of hope, empowered with STEM education, with employment opportunities, with sustainable economic growth engines, that would be a true impact, not only on the general society, but on the Arab community within Israel. So what did we do? We're building a school of excellence that will probably open in September 2018 with the Ministry of Education. We have a committee discussing how we can possibly make this happen when the government does not give a long day and finance a long day at school for Shibli, despite the fact that it's very low on the socioeconomic ladder. But a school for academic excellence will open in September 2018 for the children of Shibli. We are also planning, not talking, planning, a center of STEM education, sciences, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Unbelievable. If you look at it, you cannot believe. It doesn't exist yet, but it will. And this will be the nucleus not only for Shibli El Ghanem, it will be the nucleus for the entire region. People will come to train for sciences and technology from throughout. This is a long-term vision, not just around the corner. This is real empowerment. This is real ownership over the future. We are building a heritage center for the Bedouins in the north. This will be part of an ecosystem of tourism. If any of you have ever been there, it's at the foot of Mount Tabor with two of the most important churches, or at least some of the most important churches on the top of the mountain. 600,000 pilgrims go through Shibli annually. One church is Catholic, the other is Orthodox. And yet these pilgrims or tourists leave nothing, because there's nothing to leave. We have created an ecosystem built very systematically, very professionally, on a feasibility study done by the former financial advisor of the Chief of Staff in the IDF, currently heading and advising the Minister of Finance, all voluntary. We are creating a boutique hotel, Bedouin style, first of its kind, together with the Ministry of Tourism and the Land Bureau in Israel. The government is on board. It has a program, financial program for Arabs in general in the State of Israel. What needs to be done is capacity, follow-up, opening the right doors. It's all there. And very exciting things are happening. They're happening. Again, this is not just talking. Things are moving in the right direction. In fact, on the 18th of September, the Minister Gila Gamliel is coming to place a cornerstone for the Bedouin Heritage Visiting Center that we are building within the touristic ecosystem. We are also creating a souk, a market, which will create employment, particularly for the women. We have already the planning going ahead with the National Company for Tourism. The Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Defense is completely on board. Why? Because one Bedouin doesn't equal one person. The impact strategically of Bedouins is tenfold their absolute numbers. Egypt, by the way, didn't quite get it yet, but the State of Israel is beginning to comprehend the importance strategically of the Bedouin community being on board with the state. I would like to invite you, every single person sitting in this room, to come and visit me in the Zionistic dream, in the Bedouin village of Shibli El Ghanem, at the beautiful place at the foot of Mount Tabor. And I will promise you, you will also think that everything is possible. Thank you.